Afternoon slate. Here to break down the games that are coming up a little later. I know we got some action going on right now. We're not going to keep you guys for too long, but we got some picks to get you, some betting data to break down. He is Ben Rajavuori. We beat the spread on Twitter. You can follow him and get all his plays for all college basketball. Ben, really appreciate you hopping on the live stream, taking some time out of, again, what should be a national holiday just to hop on and give us some picks for today.
Yeah, it's awesome. The first two games, it's like every time the first game starts, it almost feels like surreal. Like, oh man, it's this time of year. And it always seems like, I know it's like a few weeks, obviously, like 3 weeks. It always feels like a few days. Like it feels so short. So it sucks that it can't be longer, but at least it is a few weeks. So it's going to be a great time.
We will take what we can get because the betting landscape sometimes gets a little ugly after March. Anyway, we got an interesting kind of schedule coming up for this middle portion. Again, we're gonna have BMatt coming on at about 4:00 too to break down the evening games. Let's just start real quick. We got a couple of 1 seeds kicking off. Howard, the 16 seed, Kansas, number 1 seed at 2 p.m. 69% of the bets, 67% of the handle on Kansas, minus 21.5. One of the biggest spreads in the tournament. Pretty split down the middle for the over-under at 145.5. Anything you're looking at in this game, or are you just kind of just sitting back and enjoying?
Yeah, the 16 seeds, they're always tough. They rarely ever went outright. We saw it with UMBC a little bit ago, a few years ago. But I mean, if anything, I don't mind taking the points here with Howard. They do have the 3-ball going for them, which is nice for a team that's always expected to be down a lot. They shoot 37% from 3 on the season. Obviously, they're playing in a worse conference, so that might be a little bit skewed based off of their opponents. But they can at least nail them. So they're shooting 32nd from 3 in the nation. So that's nice. Could keep them in the game. And Kansas, they are dealing with that McCullough injury. He is hopeful for this game. I see that he probably will play. But then again, you kind of want to think, if you're Kansas, should you risk playing him in this game? Because we kind of saw the same thing with Houston. They decided to sit Marcus Sasser, even though it sounded like he could have played if he wanted to. They ended up sitting him, which was a smart decision because now hopefully he's healthier to go. He's more close to 100%. Maybe they do the same thing with McCullough, which would be something to watch in this game. So I kind of like Howard with the points.
Yeah, I think Howard generates enough offense just late in a blowout to hit that over. Something to note too, teams entering the tournament after a loss of 20 plus points, 22-11-1 against the spread. And obviously Kansas lost by over 20, 67% cover rate there. So look out for Kansas minus 21.5. Next game, 2:45, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Alabama. Again, another 1-16 matchup. Largest spread we see in this first round, minus 24.5 for Alabama, 57% of the bets, 64% of the handle, 68-64 spread, respectively, on the over-under. On the under, going to 154.5. Another sit back and enjoy, or what?
Yeah, I think so. The 116 spreads, they're just so scary. And 21 is like borderline, 24.5. That's just scary. But I mean, obviously Alabama, they score in transition, like at one of the fastest rates. That's where they're the scariest in transition. They obviously have Brandon Miller, who's one of the best true scorers in the nation. So it's like when you have those teams that are so potent in transition, it's really scary when they play a team that's not so great like Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And unlike Howard, we were just saying how they kind of had the 3-ball. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, they're 142nd in offensive efficiency. They're not quite as good of an offense, so it might be a little harder for them to catch up if they get behind early, which they probably will. But then again, 24 points is a lot for a tournament game. So I don't really like this one. Just going to sit back, watch. Hopefully Alabama moves on for the bracket.
Fair enough. And again, just a reminder, when Virginia lost as that number 1 seed, the only time a number 1 seed has lost, just to make you feel old, that was 5 years ago today.
Oh, it was, man. I thought it was only like 3.
Yeah, well, that's that COVID kind of time portal, and time just not being real. Anyways, let's get to one of the most exciting games in this slate and just today in general. 12-seeded Charleston, 5-seeded San Diego State University, plus 5.5 for Charleston right now. This has been a very popular upset pick. There's been a 12-5 upset for the last couple of years. I don't know if this is the one. Tell me what you're thinking for this game.
Yeah, so I saw something that 5 seeds are only 21-19 straight up, not against the spread, straight up in the last, I think, what does that come down to in math? 10 years, 9 years. But with the COVID year, we didn't have the tournament. So
Mhm.
that's a crazy straight up stat for what should be the fives winning like most of the time. When you consider like the 8 seeds win more than the 5 seeds. So it is a crazy split there. Charleston, they're a very popular pick. I like San Diego State. I actually have them even moving on and winning the next round as well. Just because their defense, they're just swarming defensively. Brian Dutcher, he runs a great defensive program there. Their offense can be a little scary at times, so I do understand why people are liking Charleston. They expect them to maybe keep up offensively, but I don't see them winning the turnover margin, and I think that's going to be key in this game. San Diego State, they're really good in the turnover margin, and they're just pretty good in every area. Like they're a good rebounding team, they're a pretty good turnover team. They don't foul a lot, so they're just pretty well balanced to me. I think they do win this game, but I don't hate the upset pick on Charleston. I'm not betting this game. I just have San Diego State in my bracket, so that's for me.
80% of bets, 67% of the money are coming in on the Charleston money line at plus 135. If you're leaning under, 74% of the bets, 79% of all total money coming in on that under at minus 142.5, which is a big number. And in terms of where you're going on that spread, because again, I think most people are in on that Charleston spread as opposed to the money line. 50-50 split in terms of the public's betting, but big money coming in on San Diego State to cover at 61%. San Diego State's defense has really been their best weapon. Like you mentioned, they have hit that under in 8 straight games. I think if I had to lean on the spread, I'd probably go Charleston plus 5.5. I'm still picking San Diego State to advance. May or may not have picked them in the bracket and also to win next round, so no pressure there. But I think if we're trusting one unit in this whole game, it's the Aztecs. So give me the under in this game. Next game, not going to spend too much time on it because again, it's a high seed and a low seed going at it. Number 2 Arizona, number 15 Princeton. Princeton plus 14.5. This game starts at 4 p.m. 60% of the bets, 66% of the money coming in on Arizona to cover, minus 14.5. People are in on the under as well at minus 1. Let me start that again. People are in on the under at 153.5. 67% of the bets, 66% of the handle. You like in Arizona, minus 14.5 here? Because Princeton has been a popular pick over the last couple of days.
Yeah, as far as the under goes, I think uttering under and Arizona in the same sentence is always scary. They play a super fast pace. They're one of the best offenses. They can kill you from 3. They can kill you underneath the basket with Tabellis. They have multiple good outside shooters. They have Courtney Ramey, one of the best transfers for Arizona right now. Kerr Kriisa, like they just have a lot of weapons. They can attack you anywhere. They're a scary team to face. I think they probably cover the 14.5. I'm not betting it. If anything, I'd actually look at the over just because I think if Princeton is going to stay in this game, they're going to have to put up just a lot of shots, probably going to have to keep up with the 3 ball, which they don't shoot necessarily super well. But Arizona, they do give looks from 3. They're actually not like an excellent team defending the perimeter. So I think if Princeton was to stay in this game, it'll be with the 3 ball, which will probably push this over because we know Arizona is going to be pushing the tempo. So if anything, I'm actually looking at maybe the over in this spot.
Yeah, I might be looking at Princeton on that first half spread, but I'm going to just rock with them for the whole game, honestly. Princeton has covered the spread in their last 4 NCAA tournament games. Arizona, 3-12-1 in their last 16 NCAA games. We have seen them in this spot before as well. Like you mentioned, Arizona, inside the arc, very good defensively. Outside the arc, drops off a little bit. Princeton likes shooting the ball from beyond the arc. Guess what? They're not very good at doing that. So this game is honestly a pretty interesting one to get a read on. This next game, though, last game we're going to talk about, 9-8 matchup, is probably the best game of this short little slate. Do want to tell you guys, though, before we get to that, again, our live stream will be going up all day long. We're going to have the updated picks from Krabs Bets and DeadPresPicks. That betting card will not go anywhere. We'll be updating it as their picks come in as well. Also want to tell you about a $500 YouTube giveaway we are running. All you need to do is subscribe and comment on any video, and you're automatically entered to win $500 at the end of the month. We're also giving away a free PS5 and an NCAA basketball jersey for one lucky Instagram follower. All you have to do, follow us on Instagram, like the post, comment, tell me what your best bet is for March Madness or for today, doesn't matter, or just say hi to us. Do whatever you want to do. Anyway, all you have to do is comment and follow us, and you're entered to win that PS5. All right, Ben, let's get down to it. This is going to be a good game. +1.5. Illinois, the number 9 seed. Arkansas, the 8 seed. The Razorbacks are getting most of the love. 74% of the bets, 78% of the handle. But Illinois on that money line, 61% of the bets. Slight edge in terms of total money at 52%. Tell me which way you're leaning and what should be a rock fight.
Well, we have a super close line, and like a typical 8-9 game, it's probably going to come down to the wire. That's kind of what we're seeing with West Virginia, Maryland right now. It's a 5-point game halfway through the second. Probably going to be something similar in this Arkansas-Illinois game. They're both loaded with talent. Arkansas, they have Nick Smith back. He didn't play for most of the season. They started 1-5. It's easy to look at their earlier conference schedule and say, oh man, they were playing really bad at the beginning of the season. They didn't have Nick Smith, who's going to be a lottery pick, one of the best freshmen, if not the best freshman right now in the nation. I know there's like a player on Baylor, Keontae George, people would say that, but I think Nick Smith is probably the most impressive freshman for me right now. And this Arkansas team, they're well-rounded. They have height. They have a great coach in Eric Musselman. They force turnovers a lot. They don't turn it over themselves a lot. Like, they do everything well. And I like them in this game because of what I said about the second half. I like them to be winning after the first half. They've been kind of more of a first half team this season. Actually, in the SEC tournament, if you remember, Arkansas was looking really good in that first half. 38 points in the first half. They're up by 13 at halftime, and then they just disappeared in the second half. Only 23 points. They ended up losing and blowing the game to Texas A&M. It was kind of a similar story, except they actually did close it out against Auburn in the SEC tournament. They're up 37-33, had a first half lead. They almost lost that game in the second half, but they were able to pull out away with the 3-point win. It's been a theme for them. It seems like they just come out really well. Mm-hmm. They look really good in the first half. And then the second half is a little bit shakier. So Illinois is a team that I think will hang around with them. But yeah, this is going to obviously be a really good game. I just think Arkansas is ahead at least at halftime. And I actually have these two split in my bracket. I have two brackets, and I have one with Arkansas, one with Illinois. So I'm kind of covering myself because I think this might, in the end, be one of the closest games of the first round. So it's a scary one, but the first half I do like Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas has struggled to close out games, which makes this a nightmare to bet on full time. I'm going in the same direction as you. I'm taking the first half under at 66.5. Again, these two teams are similar in their DNA. Like, I can see them trying to play the same kind of game and neither of them be able to knock down shots. Arkansas does struggle to defend the three. That's something that Illinois does not do exceptionally well. But if you get open looks, that is something that you can start converting on. I just don't want to risk it for the full game. Just give me that first half under at 66.5. I won't worry about it. Before I let you go, Ben, I do want to ask you one more question about this game because people are all over the under. I think this is outside of just like the Alabama money line that's getting like 90% of the money and things like that. Under 143.5 for this game, 84% of the bets and 88% of the total money. Like, this is like the number one play essentially for today and like a realistic number. Are you that confident in it, or?
I mean, here's the thing. Probably
it's a big number.
I can see it because there's a lot of Illinois is not a heavy 3-point shooting team, or at least they don't make them a lot. They only shoot 30% from three. That's 330th in the nation. That's like bottom 30. Although they do shoot it, they're 65th in 3-point attempts. So they're shooting it, but they're not necessarily making them. I think they're going to look more underneath in this game. Same thing for Arkansas. Arkansas they do not shoot from three very often. They're actually bottom 20 in the nation in 3-point attempts. They basically live underneath the basket. So at least you can expect we're not going to see a ton of threes in this game. Maybe Brad Underwood in Illinois, maybe they go towards the three ball a little bit more, but then again, they don't make them a ton. So if they do that, they're probably not going to score much, at least in my eyes. So if twos are worth less than threes,
I've never been very good at math, Ben, but I could tell you that twos are smaller than threes, which is pretty important there for the total. Hey, I mean, look, there's a reason that everyone is in on the under. Ben, really appreciate you hopping on. Everyone, you can follow him at WeBeatTheSpread on Twitter. I will talk to you again tomorrow, Ben. We're going to have a fresh batch of games to look at. Make sure you guys are coming back at around 4 p.m. I'm going to be hopping on with Brian Matthews, a.k.a. BMatt. I'll talk to you guys later.